everyone. Nice to meet each and every one of you. My name is Manzi Aime. I'm a physician, and I currently work as a program coordinator at the Rwanda Diabetes Association. I've been asked to talk about the fear of hypoglycemia in professional settings. I know hypoglycemia is the worst nightmare that any person living with diabetes can meet. So I stand from a point of lived experience. I've lived with type 1 diabetes for the past 16 years, but in all the 16 years till now, I know hypoglycemia is the worst nightmare that you can face, whether during the day at home or during the day at work. Hypoglycemia is something not to joke about. During the day, maybe you're at work doing your normal activities, and you start to feel the symptoms of losing a little bit of consciousness, feeling weak. The fear is not only on the hypoglycemia, but what your environment, what the people you usually work with are looking. So in professional settings, the fear of hypo is not only physical. There is also an added weight of worrying what your colleagues, especially even me, what my patient might think about me, even when you're at school, what your supervisors might think. You are even worried they might be thinking that you're less capable of doing the job, or they might even try to repress you because you're not as effective as everybody else in your workplace. So I have a similar experience. A few years ago, while I was still a student, I had an opportunity of working with a senior doctor he was a gynecologist. He told me, I can help you and you can join me in the operating room, and I show you how we do a C-section. We are going to help deliver a baby. So it was my first time going into a big operating room. I was very excited. I wanted to look as professional as I can be, and I wanted to really leave an impression that, I can do it. I entered, we did everything well, but halfway through the operation, I remember I started to feel the signs. I know I started to tremble in my hands. I started to feel the sweat dripping on me. The generous doctor was like, "Hey, Aime, are you okay? Is everything fine?" And in my mind, I knew what was going on, but fearing that he might think that I'm not capable of being a good doctor like him, I lied that, I'm okay. It's just the first time. I'm nervous. But all in all, I knew what was going on. I was having an episode of hypoglycemia. Good enough, everything went on well, but after the operation, I started to think, why am I fearing? Yeah? Why do I fear having an episode of hypo in front of my senior doctor, someone like that? So I thought about it, and I was like, I fear the stigma that would come to me if my colleagues at work and my fellow students knew someone like me is having diabetes. I also feared that I would lose an opportunity of having a similar, a similar, a similar opportunity of helping a person, because they would think that this person is not capable enough to work because of having diabetes. So the fear of having hypo is common. As the American Diabetes Association says, 1 out of 7 people always have fear of having diabetes, and they have also mechanisms of coping up. Some people, especially those who are in senior positions, even some of my patients usually tell me that if I'm going to do an important meeting, I usually may tend to miss a dose because I don't want to fall into an hypo episode when I'm around people. And others would be like, I usually eat a lot. a lot of carbs so that I may not have an episode of hypo during an important session. And if this might be good, but also it carries a lot of complications. Imagine being able to miss a dose each and every day because you have important meetings to attend to. In the long run, you will have a lot of bad complications from your poorly managing diabetes. So some of the coping strategies that I usually do, or what my organization does, I always try to talk to my colleagues to always have a colleague or a workmate who usually knows that they are diagnosed with type 1, who might help them in a case of hypo, or even just carry a snack to work. As an organization, we always advocate with the Ministry of Health to make inclusive policies for people living with diabetes in their workplaces. And we also have them to make non-discriminatory policies, assuring our type 1 patients that if they say in their jobs that they are diabetic, they are assured that they don't lose their jobs. Finally, I want to conclude emphasizing that living with diabetes is not a sprint, it's a marathon. Perfection is never expected nor possible. Sometimes things go as planned, but what matters most is an ongoing commitment to try to persevere and to adapt. So as the voices of people living with diabetes in global health, let us champion the changes and create the advocacy we wish to see in our professional settings. By sharing our stories, pushing for supportive policies, we pave the path for a more inclusive, safer, and empowered workplace for everyone facing similar challenges. Together we can, and thank you all.